And welcome to ProBlogacy. I am your host, Vero. This is our official premiere of ProBlogacy, Episode 1. We are less than 48 hours out from the official launch of what was being called Sandbox 3.0 is now kind of being called Prologue Prelude. So we're gonna touch a little bit on that today. I have in with me, and will have in studio with me going forward, my amazing, wonderful, phenomenal, ever talented, ever lovely co-host Jessica. Hi, Jessica. How you doing?
That's right. Suck up.
You know me. Technically in the chain of command here at Prologue, you kind of are my boss. So the sucking up is to be expected.
Fact you had to remind me of some time ago. We
Yeah,
lost for like, what was it, a week? We lost the board for like a week. Until I forgot Prologue existed, had a life for a little bit.
For shame. How dare you go on and have a life?
You had to remind me.
All right, so what I'd like to do first, since you're going to be here with us, people already know a little bit what to expect out of me from Episode 0, Parts 1 and 2, and our amazing interview with Firefighter, the project lead. But yeah, so our listeners know kind of what to expect out of me, because I talked a lot during that. Not quite as much as Firefighter, but he had a lot of information to pass along, so I'll forgive him that this time. But we don't know exactly what to expect out of you. I mean, I know what to expect out of you, but they may not know exactly what to expect out of you. So what we're going to do is we are going to talk a little bit about you.
Do I have to?
Yes, you do. Right off the bat, you've been with Prologue a while. Specifically, how long would you say you've been with the project, both on staff and as a player, like combined time?
Too long? No, since I think it was summer of 2011. I didn't join until I was kind of late. I didn't join until Phase C, I think it was.
Gotcha. Other than being the co-host of ProBlogacy, what are your specific duties around here at Project Prologue and Legacy and whatnot?
Well, basically, I suppose I am a conductor of sorts. Like, I'm the organizer. I basically make sure everybody is getting things in when they say they're getting it in and running ideas. I mean, well, ideas are run by everybody, but, okaying things with me first, and usually goes through Firefighter as well, because he is my boss for now.
I'm certainly glad he's not here listening in on that, because I would have taken that as a threat. Excellent. Thank you, Jessica. We now know a little bit more about you, so we're going to move on. Like I said, this being our official premiere of ProBlogacy, I want to talk about some of the stuff that happened there in the development of Prelude. I know it was supposed to be released on the 20th of July, initially.
Yeah, when we really got into it, and I'm going to be truthful here, like, I showed up in the death zone, and we hadn't even put the teleporter in. And, I mean, there was a lot of things that were missed. And when we started looking, like, Domingo was got the registration page working and things like that, but then we were having issues when people were creating characters, because I had a test one that I made and was trying everything out, and languages weren't working, and so we realized as it got to the 20th that we really could not release what we had. So basically, I know I stayed up all night.
There was a lot of burning the midnight oil going on for that release. Well, that's
weekend. If I had to work, if it was a weekday, I would have been dead. It wasn't so much I was really physically doing anything. It was our coders basically had a list, and I was going through the list with the programmers and saying, okay, well, we need to knock this out. We need to knock this out. I mean, these things need to be done before we can release it. We can push to the side for now, and we can do that. I mean, there's still we're still going to be fixing things, and essentially this sandbox is going to be a training area for everyone, not just STs, but the new CTs we have.
Right.
Well, it's going to be a way for the coders to test everything. It's basically, and the great thing about being in Outlands is that we can test our edits and we can test our systems and with as least amount of interference with the actual RP going on.
You mentioned no teleporter in the death zone. There was the language issues. There was a lot of stuff that cropped up.
It wasn't allowing you to make a Alliance and a Horde character on one PvP server.
Right.
It was
really, really old server rules from Blizzard.
Yeah, it was a lot of stuff.
And then didn't we also have some NPC spawned out in northern Nagrand that was causing crashes?
Blade's Edge.
Oh, Blade's Edge. Okay.
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah, I think that's the area.
And we couldn't get close enough to delete the NPC.
If somebody, well, we thought, I don't know, I'd have to ask Domingo because he fixed it. Somebody supposedly spawned something that crashed the area in the circle. I think
Circle of Blood.
But then when we tried to go back to find the NPC, it wasn't in the database. It wasn't anywhere. So, but the zone.
Oh wow! I hadn't even heard that far.
Yeah, no, like you actually looked up the NPC and tried to list it, and it wasn't there. He figured it out. I never did get the details on like how he fixed it, but he did figure it out.
I have said this many, many times in the various different chats and whatnot, but our coders are freaking heroes.
Yeah.
Like, I think we have the best coders I've ever had the pleasure of working with.
Yeah, they all spent many hours up that night trying to fix everything, and like I said, we had that list that they were all trying to knock out one by one.
When it was all said and done, didn't just about everything on that list got handled when we launched on the 21st, right?
Yeah, I think there was like a few little things we still had left to do.
Real minor stuff, right?
There was like a lot of stats that had to be fixed. I still think there's a few more, but nothing major.
Those we can fix as we go, and that's not really going to hinder necessarily the RP that's going on.
No, it's not. It's nothing major. I mean, like, I think one of them, the GM accounts, all the powers are kind of mucked up on some of the higher levels, but that's not a big deal. It doesn't actually affect players, and it actually doesn't really affect the staff either, because we've got a workaround for it at the moment.
Excellent. All right, so then let's step forward a couple of hours. Launch has happened, and we're standing around in Sparker Creation, where every player, every new character has to go through to get into the world to start role-playing. Give me your impressions of how that went. Kind of, what was the feeling in the air?
We forgot to remove the limit for players, so we had a queue.
Okay, but let's jump a couple of hours past that.
Well, that's how excited people were. We actually had a queue, and then we removed the cap, and so everybody was able to log in. I believe everybody was really excited. All the players were. I mean, there was tons of players in there. Now, to be fair, the amount of tickets I didn't expect. I mean, we had a fair few, not as many as I remember during T-Mog launch. But that's probably a good thing. It means we didn't mess up as much as previous incarnations of Prologues.
I saw the one topic on the Prologue forums. One of the CT members was talking something like 174 tickets in 5 hours he handled, which, I mean, to a lot of people that may seem like a lot, but for a launch, when we set a record for the number of people on the forums during launch, I'd have to look at numbers again, but we were pretty close to 200 people in game at one point. That's just at one point. There was definitely more than 200 players throughout the course of the launch series. So 174 tickets doesn't really seem like much when you take all the other numbers.
Definitely compare. Like, I mean, I was there for T-Mog launch for several weeks. That was just, it was a lot. A lot of stuff to deal with. And back then, I mean, we had a huge CT team, and I mean, it petered out by the time, the crash happened and whatnot. It was a lot. I think part of the fact that we didn't have as many this time was the most tickets that you ever get is usually bugs or things not working properly.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that I would say is the majority. It's not so much player complaints about other people in the game, or it's usually about issues with the games. And aside from the the add-ons thing, GHR and TRP2, I can't think of any big issues. I think there was one, people of opposite factions could not emote at one another for some reason. That was fixed, I think, within an hour. They restarted the server and fixed that. But that's the only thing I can think of aside from the GHI stuff.
I remember Firefighter mentioning the GHI developer is taking a look at it and making sure that we get updated here at Prologue so that we can run the most current version of his product, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, he's always been a real big help.
Another unsung hero of Prologue in my opinion.
He's like officially, he's not part of the development team or part of the staff.
Speaking of community, we've talked a little bit about how the launch went from a staff point of view. From a community point of view, I'm getting a real sense of people are really excited about this. They're real happy to be back in a Prologue server role playing again. We had right in the first 24 hours, we had some events launching already.
Yeah, already starting their own stories. Yeah,
and that's not even counting the storylines that the storyteller team has in the works and has started working on and everything that players may not have even seen yet. As far as I understand, they're already in progress too. So this looks like it's going to be a really, really popular phase.
I think they've said that most of the storytellers' planned storylines, they're going to hold off for a week because they want players to kind of move in before they start throwing stuff at them.
I'm sure they're working on those storylines in the background already, just nothing huge yet, just kind of setting things up.
They're already planned. They're split up. The storytellers are split up into pairs. Each pair has concocted their own story.
Right.
And they're basically just waiting now to begin a lot of these. So the machinations are in place.
I don't even know how much time I'm going to get as a player during Prelude because of all the work that we have going into Legacy. But I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on it. I know you will be too. I'm going to be getting in as much as I can, going around, checking out some of the events, checking out the RP that's happening. I don't even know what else to say other than I'm excited. I hope everyone else is excited. You and I have talked prior to sitting down and recording this. I know you're excited. I'd like to just wish everyone out there the best of luck with all of your storylines, all your characters. Have fun. Let's get some really, really good role play going on and build up those creative juices so that once we've got Legacy unveiled and released, we're ready to hit the ground with both feet running. In the meantime, we're going to wrap things up. Jessica, thank you again.
Yeah, no problem.
We will be back for episode 2. I don't even know what that's going to be yet. We've been so busy with this launch of Prelude, we haven't even figured out what episode 2 of ProBlogacy is. But
hopefully, by that point, Legacy will be underway. So.
Yes, yeah. Hopefully, I'll be able to get in and get some video of what's happening in the Legacy development, or even video of what's happening in Prelude right now. I don't know. We'll get something up.
You know what you're going to do? You're going to go invisible, and you're going to find ERP.
I have no comment. Anyway, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the official premiere episode of ProBlogacy. Jess, thank you again. Everyone else out there, thank you for listening. Safe journeys.